Superheroes have been getting more popular across media. What dramatically helped was the success of the MCU, the former success. Superheroes have become more mainstream, more for Marvel than DC, but DC has been making movies, just aren't that good. You have some films like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, those were pretty good, but we haven't seen any DCEU movies that really shine. But there is one thing DC has somewhat been consistent in prior to 2023, and I'm referring to DC's video games. These have been a bit more consistent, specifically for Batman. They have branched out with other franchises, but Batman is the one that has had critically acclaimed titles in the past. You could argue that it's because he's one of the most famous superheroes out there, which could be true. Before the MCU, most people just knew Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, maybe Wonder Woman. That was pretty much it. However, Batman has had games prior to his critically acclaimed titles. You had games on the NES that, I never played, but they're there if you're interested. Can't really speak much about them, but they exist. However, back in the 2000s, a company called Rocksteady was put in charge to make a Batman video game. If you grew up in the 2000s, you should know about these games, but for today, I will be focusing on the one that started it all, Batman Arkham Asylum. Rocksteady was put in charge to make a Batman game, so they got to work and created one of the most influential video games for all of video games. This was one of the most amazing games in general and a great way to start off this franchise, which eventually led to Arkham City and Arkham Origins and finally Arkham Knight. I am ignoring that one on purpose. I will eventually talk about the rest, but this is the one that started it all. So how influential was it? I'm making it seem like it was a masterpiece of a video game, like it's the Godfather, freaking mobster status. And maybe at the time it was, but what about now? It's been a while since the game came out, and obviously sequels have come out since then. But why not go back to the original game and see how this franchise first started and to see if it's still pretty good or if it's whatever now. Let's start with the story. In Gotham City on a random night, at least I think it's a random night, you see the moon shining bright and all of a sudden you see the Batmobile speeding by as Batman has just detained the Joker and is driving to Arkham Asylum. As you reach the asylum, the Arkham staff escort Joker and for whatever reason Batman says something ain't right. You go through the asylum and have some funny little moments with the Joker making little comments about your situation.
Need to take my temperature? I'd be happy to drop my pants.
What?
All of a sudden, as you reach the end, you meet up with Jim Gordon, and you tell Jim that something's not right and that it was too easy. The Joker didn't put up much of a fight. As you're telling this to Jim Gordon, you see all of a sudden that Joker was doing just as Batman predicted, and he manages to escape. Batman tries to enter the room with Harley Quinn activating the security system, preventing Batman from capturing the Joker again, so now Joker is on the loose in the asylum with security clearance. How the hell? It is up to Batman to stop him. This is the center of the story. Your objective is to stop the Joker from going on a massive genocide in the asylum. However, that's easier said than done. The story is not brain dead though. The plot will have multiple different instances of multiple different bad guys and multiple different things happening. But hey, you are the Batman. You have to deal with this, and that's exactly what Batman does. As you beat some thugs, Harley shows herself on the screen to reveal she captured Quincy Sharp, the warden of the asylum. As Batman goes to stop them, he rescues some Arkham staff and encounters the Joker in an elevator shaft. As Batman confronts him, the Joker releases this big guy who just has a heart attack and the Joker runs away. After the big guy, they also show Batman that there is a traitor among them who kidnaps Commissioner Gordon. After finding a trail of alcohol breath, he encounters that the traitor was murdered. You keep continuing to try to rescue Jim Gordon when you encounter some medical staff of Arkham. You rescue each doctor and medical staff when you encounter a doctor named Penelope Young. Dr. Young tells Batman that she needs to go get her research so that the Joker cannot get his hands on them. Batman tells Aaron Cash to escort the doctor and the medical staff to go hide as he takes down more thugs. As he continues through the asylum, he finds that Jim Gordon is dead. But when trying to contact Oracle, the line is disconnected. Damn, Batman didn't pay his phone bill. After you have a scarecrow sequence and learn that Gordon is not really dead, you find Gordon, rescue him, and learn that someone was experimenting on Bane. After fighting the giant, you run him over with your car and send Jim off to the island. You tell Oracle that you will go to the Batcave, as he has one on Arkham Island, to analyze the whole Bane experiment and discover that Dr. Young was experimenting with a compound known as Venom and was able to make and synthesize a new compound called Titan. This chemical enhances people to be incredibly strong and get swole without the need of constant Venom infusion like Bane has with his Venom tube. Not just that, later Oracle informs Batman that the funds Dr. Young received came from a man called Jack White, who turns out to just be the Joker. Batman, while looking through her notes, discovers that the formula is missing and goes to retrieve them. Batman gets to Dr. Young's safe only to discover that she already got them, but she had to hide them in the library before Joker's crew could get them. Batman finds the formula and destroys it and rescues Dr. Young from Zsasz. Dr. Young tells Batman how bad the formula is and lets Batman know to stop him just before opening a safe and being killed by the Joker. Dr. Young informed Batman just before to go to the botanical gardens that there is a lab there with some Venom or Titan or whatever. Just before heading over, another Scarecrow sequence happens and you head to the next area. Batman goes and finds Poison Ivy locked up and just leaves her there. Harley Quinn then lets her out, and after, Batman detains Quincy Sharp and throws Harley in a cell where she accidentally reveals where Joker headed off to. You rescue more people and discover the hidden lab where Joker has now gathered gallons of Titan. Now that the Joker has the Titan, he destroys it. Batman then goes to Poison Ivy and talks to her about creating a cure. She informs him that a flower found in Croc's lair is the only way to make one. Batman talks to Officer Cash about reaching Killer Croc's lair. He tells you where to go, and another Scarecrow sequence happens. After surviving a drug that would apparently drive 12 men insane, Batman survives and Scarecrow threatens to throw his fear toxin into Gotham's water supply. And suddenly, Killer Croc grabs Scarecrow and eats him. Well, we aren't sure, but you know, that's what it looks like. But the bat gets dropped on the ground and Batman heads towards the lair, completely disregarding a man's safety. In the lair, he sets a trap before collecting the plant spores and gets chased by Killer Croc. Just before the Mad Croc gets Batman, he activates the trap where he won't see him for the rest of the game. Batman heads back to the Batcave to make a cure, and when suddenly plants start attacking, Joker gave Ivy the Titan formula and it made her go boom. I swear the writers are high when you describe the story like this. Once you reach Ivy, you fight her and take her down, and after, Joker sets up a party and you beat up his thugs for no reason, or you know, you can ignore them, but no, experience, bitch. Once you go in, the TV that you can visit if you want reveals himself to be the Joker, and then a bomb goes off and Batman survives again, and then you go and face the Joker. Batman now has to fight Titan thugs. That Joker is on like a throne of skulls, like Jesus. Anyways, Gordon is there. You fight the two Titan thugs, which a bunch of thugs, and then Joker shoots Batman with the Titan and he doesn't turn. And then he takes the cure. Joker then also shoots himself. What the fuck's going on? So with the Joker using the Titan on himself, Batman now has to fight the Titan Joker, where he wins and tells the Joker he will never let him win. After taking him down, Arkham is finally back in control, where Batman heads to Gotham to continue his patrol because someone's robbing a bank, thus ending the story of Arkham Asylum. This story, while simple, well, for the most part, was pretty awesome. You are seeing the dynamic that everyone knows, Batman and Joker, and the rest. They are two sides of the same coin. Batman does his thing, and overall the story gives you reasons to explore the island. I think what really makes it great is the voice acting. Rocksteady, when developing the game, knew who they wanted for their Batman, Harley Quinn, and Joker. At the time of this recording, sadly, Kevin Conroy and Arlene Sorkin have passed away, but both were great in this. Harley Quinn actually sounds good and not annoying. She does great, and not a lot of people talk about it. You guys are sleeping on her, and she does freaking amazing in this game. I actually love this. And Kevin as Batman will always and forever be my favorite Batman. It's awesome, and I can only hear this man's voice as Batman. Rest in peace to these two. But Joker also just kills it. God, it's low-key entertaining and terrifying hearing the Joker in this game, but all three of these actors did such an amazing job, and it elevates the game, especially for Batman and Joker, since they are the main two you'll be hearing. Oh God, it's like so perfect. Everyone else's performance also does pretty well. Scarecrow is kind of creepy, Gordon sounds good, and Riddler, not only does he sound somewhat smart, but insecure and narcissistic all at the same time. It makes the story entertaining to watch, as if this was a much darker story that they can't really tell in the animated series, even though, hell, that shit got dark pretty quickly. The environment, the story, and Joker creates in the asylum is horrifying. If this wasn't a video game, you would be panicking. Like, there's no hiding it. That is how well the developers created the island of Arkham Asylum. You are in an asylum, so it's gonna be creepy because a maniac just took it over. Not just that, the Joker's running around killing everyone. So yeah, this is horrifying when you think about it. But exploring the islands will be how you see all of the effort they put in. So what can Batman do while exploring Arkham Island? Well, he can walk or run, he can glide to reach further areas, and use the grappling hook to reach higher areas one can't reach. But that's just mobility. Batman is Batman, so he needs ways to take down thugs. Many times you will encounter Joker's crew ready to fight Batman. This is where this game sets a foundation of combat. Many games usually handle combat as punch, punch, punch with no real great feeling. It doesn't feel right. Usually it was stiff and it had animations that could only be done via specific takedown or countering. However, Batman Arkham Asylum was the game that said we are Batman and refined combat so beautifully that many games started to copy or emulate Batman's combat. When encountering thugs, Batman can do punches by pressing the X button. If pushed too fast, Batman can lose his combo. If done too slow, Batman won't really follow up. Not just that, other thugs can attack you while you are focusing on one enemy. This is where the counter comes in. As if stealing Spider-Man's Spidey sense was an option, when an enemy comes to attack the Dark Knight, an icon will appear on top of them. By pressing the Y button, Batman will encounter that thug, attacking them, leaving your combo going. This is the basic combat. While it sounds simple, it is still so satisfying to pull off. Not only do you feel so badass, by upgrading the combat, you can get more involved. As mentioned, you will have a combo that will go up the more damage you do. The more the combo goes up, the more you can experiment with stuff. As the combo reaches a certain number, with the upgrades, you can perform a throw by pressing the A and B buttons on the Xbox controller. Batman will grab a thug and toss them either off a railing towards the void, which happens to have water, or towards a group of enemies, knocking them all down like you're playing bowling. Or you can do an instant takedown by pressing the B and Y button, which will, no matter the enemy, take them down by breaking their arm, leg, or just tossing them on the ground. Damn. The free flow combat also makes Batman much better in combat. He just like kind of moves better. That's what the game says, and you kind of notice it. Not just that, but when an enemy is shoved on the ground, by pressing the left trigger and the Y button, Batman will take them down by punching them in the face or hitting them in the ow. Yikes. Batman shows no mercy. While Batman can do all these moves, some thugs are immune to Batman's regular attacks or cannot be countered. These enemies require special techniques. The knife guys cannot be attacked as if they have special armor and cannot be countered either, so Batman must use his cape in order to stun them to get a hit on them. Not only will it stun the enemy, but it can be used on regular thugs too. Some enemies will eventually come with stun batons, and these cannot be attacked. However, if Batman double taps the A button, he will dodge away from enemies, but he can also leap over thugs to attack them from behind, which is necessary for the stun batons. So even though you have these special enemies, however, the instant takedown does not care what special ability they have and will take them out anyways. The only ones that will ignore the instant takedowns are the Titan thugs. Eventually in the story, thugs will be supercharged with Titan and will be introduced in regular combat. These guys honestly kind of suck. They are basically mini bosses that require you to avoid them with quick fire batarangs, and then you eventually knock down their health, and that's it. They take a bit though and just take you out of the focus combat, which is annoying. I'd rather be here with the thugs than focus on these guys, but they aren't the only guys that can take you out. You have these crazed inmates of the asylum, which can be countered, slammed on the ground, and then ground takedown, and that's it. That's it. Nothing special. They may jump on you, but other than that, they mean nothing. And hell, they aren't even thrown in combat ever, except for a challenge map. There are also guns, which can be in combat, so focus on them. There will also be gun lockers that thugs will actively go for while in combat, so focus on them before they ruin your combo or just kill you. Yeah. It's a gun, what do you expect? If at any moment you do not keep the combo going long enough or get hit, your combo will stop, leaving you out of free flow focus. Not just that, but the higher the final combo, the more XP you will get. The upgrades Batman will get require a certain amount of XP, so ensuring the high combo will ensure a stronger Batman much quicker. Speaking of upgrades, you can also upgrade your gadgets. Throughout the story, there will be instances where Batman will receive various different gadgets. At first, he only starts off with the Batarang, but eventually can get non-lethal explosive gel, the Bat Claw, the cryptographic sequencer, and the Ultra Bat Claw throughout the story. With the upgrades, Batman can get the Sonic Batarang, the remote control Batarang, and multi-Batarangs. These gadgets can be used during combat. Well, only two really are the Batarangs and the Black Claw, since you have quick ways to use them, but honestly, besides the Batarang, they may mess up your combo. So unless you're setting explosive gel traps prior to a fight, you're not going to be using most of these gadgets in combat. Hell, the cryptographic sequencer is is just to open doors. So yeah, not really great. So if the gadgets are not really that useful for combat, why are they here? Well, it's to explore the island and for the Predator sequences. Arguably the best sections in the Batman Arkham series, at least for me anyways. While combat is fun, these stealth sections make you feel powerful. Throughout the island, there will be moments where enemies are armed with guns. If Batman were to head first straight into it, that would be a death sentence. But Batman has stealth on his side. By holding the trigger, Batman will crouch and enter a quiet state where you can sneak up on enemies. By pushing the Y button directly behind them, Batman will quietly take them out. While that is your main way, the Arkham game gives you so many different options to take them out. It's amazing. By using the explosive gel on weak walls, you can blow up the wall, knocking out enemies. Or by using the gel as a trap, you can go and do a ground takedown or send the enemy flying backwards from a ladder, instantly taking them out. Corner takedowns for when an enemy is heading towards you. Window takedowns, whether on the ceiling or next to them. And with the upgrades, you can do an inverted takedown. By using gargoyles, Batman can grab an enemy and hang them non-lethally from a gargoyle. Don't be scared to use these in stealth sections. They will allow you to not only traverse the area undetected, but also glide towards the enemy when not directly under him. However, if you are spotted, gargoyles will also be your way to escape. Gadgets here are your best friend. Batarangs can make enemies ready for ground takedowns. The Batclaw can make enemies fall down ledges to take them down, or just take them down by falling off the ledge. And the Sonic Batarang will just straight up shock a dude once you upgrade it. Or have an enemy heads towards a direction so you can, set them up for a takedown. These are really good for the challenges actually. Ledge takedowns can also be done, but these are loud. Hell, some of the earlier takedowns are loud and will alert the thugs. Same with ground and inverted takedown. So you have to plan. If there is a thug right next to each other, it may not be a good idea to take one down all loud. This is where you have to pick them apart one by one. Separating the enemies is your best friend. However, eventually the thugs you encounter may start to learn your tricks. This is cool because if you use the inverted takedown way too many times, they start to look up in the gargoyles later or start to set traps. Where if Batman goes on one, it will blow up certain gargoyles, meaning you now have to be on ground level. But you can still hide in grates and vents. Enemies will start to partner up as you start to pick them apart, so you can't sneak up behind them anymore, or will just be aware of your tactics. So be careful on how often you do certain things. But by the time the thugs do that, you may have already taken out more than half of them anyways, or were so stealthy they didn't even realize half of their buddies are sleeping already. The stealth sections are great. These are the two main aspects of Batman Arkham Asylum, the combat and stealth. Though that isn't the only thing in the game. The final main point of the game is exploring and collecting Riddler trophies. As you explore the island, the Riddler tells the Dark Knight that he has scattered multiple trophies, collectibles, and riddles across the island. This can be something cool or something annoying depending on your stance. Hi, I'm the leader of the Saints, and I got Riddler 100% all throughout the Arkham game, so excuse me if I sound annoyed, but let's just focus on Arkham Asylum. For me, I kinda do like Metroidvania, so I don't mind too much. As you progress through the game, you will find trophies, riddles, or interview tapes. These trophies unlock concept art, 3D models, and certain challenges in the menu. The thing about these is you can also scan Arkham seals, which reveal the Amadeus Arkham story, which reveals by the end, oh, I guess spoiler, the Warden himself is crazy and thinks he is the resurrected Amadeus Arkham. It's like, that's what an insane thing. That's like saying you're like the leader of the Saints or something. What a fucking insane person who would do such a thing. Weird, but hopefully we'll see this loose end tied up later because it doesn't really go anywhere. The riddles also play a tribute to all of Batman's lore, and unlocking character descriptions gives you history on everyone, with the interview tapes shedding more light on these characters and interactions. There is a very great reward from getting everything, but you don't have to get everything. You want to get everything so you can hear Riddler freak out and get arrested by the end of the game and get all the extra content, and by doing so you get a lot more XP, which help you unlock more upgrades. But you don't have to. Not just that, Arkham Asylum is very focused. While you can go explore, I usually save that just before the Joker's party. Then with everything unlocked, I go get everything, then stop him. But you can ignore all the collectibles and go straight for Joker's party. Look. We may be Batman, but we're punctual. Not just that, maps exist to show you where the riddles are, and in general they also show you like general areas where some things are. The only thing that sucks is the Joker teeth. If you don't destroy all of them by the chance you find them, you might miss one and oh my gosh, is it hell trying to find it. But again, if you don't want to, you can ignore it. Just go beat the Joker. While this game is amazing, there are things that could have been better. You have the bosses, which are not really bosses. The Scarecrow sequences are really cool, and one straight up freaks you out with the game over screen. These are really cool by the end, though it isn't really a boss fight. Like this is a cool thing, but they're not really bosses. These feel more like I don't get caught type of thing. Killer Croc is just avoid and throw batterings at him. And the 3 actual bosses is Bane, Poison Ivy, and Titan Joker. Those are really the only actual bosses. Bane is just another Titan thug, so nothing special. Poison Ivy probably has the best fight, still isn't that great. And the Titan Joker is just avoid him, fight his goons, then back claw him when he turns his back to, like, I don't know, like look at a helicopter. Honestly, besides that, the Scarecrow sequences like are the only real thing that really leave you whoa. This is probably the biggest downside of the game. The bosses are honestly terrible, and the only other downside being the overuse of detective mode. Time to open this can of worms. You have been seeing across the footage that Batman has this thing called detective mode, which not only lets you scan for clues, investigate people's breath, set up crime scenes, look for Riddler trophies, breakable walls, point of interest, and see how many enemies are up ahead with what type of weapons. It is your best friend in stealth section since it lets you keep an eye on enemies, but also allows you to plan your attacks. But when exploring the island, having detective vision on prevents you from seeing the atmosphere the game has. Since detective mode is so useful to find trophies and to see enemies' locations, you will pretty much have this thing on constantly, preventing you from seeing the aesthetics of the game, which sucks because it's great. The atmosphere and environments are incredible, but detective mode prevents me from enjoying it. First timers will most likely always have it on, but detective mode also doesn't show riddles or Joker teeth. So yeah, it could prevent you from finding those. It is a double-edged sword because it is very, very useful, but it takes you out of the atmosphere. However, I'd rather have a super useful tool than a useless one. Overall, Batman Arkham Asylum is a great game. The combat and stealth is great. Exploring the island and finding collectibles is great, and the story and performance keep you glued to your seat. The game was super influential and it still holds up. But you know what? This game now feels a bit stiff in combat and stealth, but not in the way you think. If you grab a majority of games now, then no, Arkham Asylum feels amazing and smooth. But when you compare it to older Arkham games, damn, this game feels a bit rough, which says a lot about Rocksteady back then. And their game, which is amazing, only feels stiff when compared to the sequel. That says a lot about Arkham Asylum. This game is great, and if someone wants to start with a Batman experience, I would say start with this one, because if you become a fan, you will play the rest, which are also amazing. Even if you don't come back to Arkham Asylum, it doesn't feel stiff to where you won't like it. That's what I did. I played City and Origins first before returning to Arkham Asylum, and I still very much enjoyed Asylum. It's focused, smooth, and a great Batman experience. Not just that, but the challenges in the menu also provide more combat and stealth sections. That one can jump and thin and have fun. Some of them are dicks. Arkham Asylum treats Batman with respect. It has created an influential combat that most video games try to emulate. The only downsides are its bosses and overuse of detective mode, which can be decided not to use. Like, you know, you could not use it. So really, Arkham Asylum only has weak bosses. This game is awesome and has so much passion poured in. Thugs have so much dialogue. Some instances can play out differently if Batman steps in early or if he waits. It has love letters to Batman fans, and to this day feels like a great game. So if you can play Arkham Asylum, it is very much worth it, and it will have one of Kevin Conroy's best performances and one of Arlene Sorkin's last performances as Harley Quinn. He is a legendary voice actor, a legendary man, and was kind and passionate, and she was a legendary actress and writer. Like, goddamn, she killed it too. But Arkham Asylum is such a great game, and if you want to try it out, you should go for it. With all that said, you guys have a good one and take care.